things is, why would you tell genociders that you will still back them through the entire election season? Why couldn't you shut up? Why couldn't you shush? At least from November until October. Why couldn't you bluff? Why couldn't you imagine you're sitting on a poker table and bluff that you're going to punish? Why is it in January you said you were willing to forgive genocide? Why did you say it in February? Why did you say it the day after the uncommitted vote? Why did you say it in April? Why did you say it in May? Why did you say it when Netanyahu attacked the West Bank? Why did you say it when Biden sent the arms to the Israelis? Why did you say it when Biden put TikTok? Why couldn't you shush? Why couldn't you shut your mouth and bluff that you were going to punish? Why did you reassure them? Why it wasn't even, the vote wasn't in January. It wasn't in February. You said you اسكت, سكر فمك, shush, bluff and let them believe you will punish them so that maybe they will sweat in a bit that will make them change. Why tell them that the genocide is not a red line? Why proactively go to the White House and sit and say to Biden that yes, you've slaughtered Palestinians, but we'll still vote for you, but show us a bit of empathy? Why? How does it make sense that while they're...
That was an extremely moving scene by Sami Hamdi, who's a political analyst. He was recently on the Ansari Podcast. Great podcast, by the way. Shout out to them. And basically, he was asked the question, what do you say to people like Mehdi Hassan? I know a lot of you love watching Mehdi Hassan. So what do you say to Mehdi Hassan who says to vote Democrat? And I thought his response was very respectful and very nice. And I thought I'd share it with all of you. So let's get started. Let's watch it.
Response be to Mehdi Hassan saying that we should vote for Kamala Harris?
First of all, I should state that I don't think it's good optics for two Muslims, and I believe Mehdi to be sincere, to be seen to be chugging it out against each other.
Okay, I want to pause right there because I am so happy Sami Hamdi said that, because honestly, Sami Hamdi and Mehdi Hassan are probably the two biggest voices against the genocide right now. Mehdi has an excellent debater, and then Sami Hamdi, one of the best political analysts I've seen. And it would be horrible to see them fighting over each other for the same cause. It would not be good optics at all, in my opinion. And I'm very happy Sami Hamdi started with that. Very respectful, very graceful.
I won't respond.
But also, on another note, great question by Ansari Podcast. I think his name is Mahmoud. Great question by Mahmoud. Because that is, of course, that honestly, these discussions are being had a lot.
On to Mehdi Hassan himself, but rather, I will appreciate that it doesn't come from a bad place, even if I believe the conclusion to be spectacularly misguided. I understand that Mehdi Hassan and others argue that Trump will be worse than Kamala Harris. And in fact, I actually agree that as individuals, Trump may well be worse than Kamala Harris. The reason why I believe Harris should lose is not because I believe Trump is worse than Harris. I believe the consequences of somebody winning a second term on the back of genocide is worse than anything Trump could do. It's not I believe Harris will do anything worse. I believe the normalization of genocide as an election winner, because the reason Harris is not stopping genocide is because if she stops it, she will lose. Biden believes if he stops genocide, he will lose. Harris believes that if she stops the genocide, she may suffer like Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush, whose only mistake was they called for a ceasefire. Jamal Bowman voted for the Iron Dome. Jamal Bowman voted for weapons for Israel. It's just that later when he heard the loud backlash to it, he thought, let me hold the stick from the middle and call for a ceasefire as well. What Jamal Bowman did was, he was saying that Zionists were once invincible, but maybe they might not be as invincible as they was before. So let me hold the stick from the middle and appease the other side as well. The Zionists said, the fact that you doubt our invincibility is unforgivable. We will show you what invincibility looks like, and spend 24 million on a race where even after gerrymandering, the population should be pro-Israel anyway, but they didn't want to take any chance.
For those that don't know, gerrymandering is basically the act of setting up districts, voting districts in a way to get your candidate to win. It's a very sneaky game.
They spent 24 million to punish Jamal Bowman. My contention is, Mehdi Hassan argues, and so do these others argue, and Mehdi will forgive me, I know that he has right of reply, etc. But Mehdi Hassan argues, based on what I've read about, is, guys, you don't understand, Trump will be much worse, things will get much worse.
And again, very respectful from Sami Hamdi, and also he's saying the honest point. This is basically what Mehdi Hassan argues. His argument is that, if Trump is president, we will get all the killing in Gaza, all the deaths in Gaza, plus a lot more instability in house. So he's being fair. He's not trying to take his argument out of context. And so far, let's see.
And maybe there is a grounding for that argument. But I'm not arguing that Harris is worse than Trump. I'm arguing the consequences of a party winning an election on the back of genocide, winning an election because it believes genocide is the way to win. A party that believes that if it stopped genocide, it will lose. The normalization of such a political calculation will be so disastrous and catastrophic for American democracy as a whole that it would be better if Trump wins. Because at least American society would say, punish the Democrats for genocide. Now it's time to fight Trump against fascism. But the story of the American society and democracy would be that we are a society that fights genocide and fights fascism. We're a society that refuses to accept either. That is better than a society that says that that genocide is better than fascism, making a choice between the two evils. I'm saying that the American society should make a choice between neither evil. That even if the consequences Trump should win, prepare to fight Trump rather than forgive that genocide itself. But what I would say is, I would say that the presentation of the argument that Trump will be worse than Harris, because initially I said, let's suppose. But the basis, the premise of the argument that Trump will be worse than Harris, the reason why I emphatically resent it so deeply is because it is always posed without proper framing. It is always presented with the picture, the canvas turned the other way. What I mean is, it's not presented alongside the picture of Sidra's legs blown off that Biden and Harris did. It's not presented, Trump will be worse than Harris, alongside the picture of Hind Rajab and the phone call where she begs for help and the Israelis bomb the ambulance and proceed to shoot 325 bullets at her car and let her die surrounded by the corpses of her family. The argument that Trump is worse than Harris is never presented alongside the canvas of Reem, a 6-year-old, being held by her grandfather, Yaruh al-Ruh, killed for no other crime than some random Westerners turned up and said, this is our land and we have a colonial power supporting us. There's nothing you can do about it. Get out of your homes and we're occupying it. And Jacob from Brooklyn, he leaves Brooklyn. Brooklyn is quite nice when I saw it. I don't know why he left it. But he left Brooklyn and he goes and he occupies the land and he says, if I don't take it, somebody else will. Shame. Get out of here. The argument is never presented alongside the canvas of the picture of Gaza being absolutely devastated and all the homes destroyed. That canvas is pushed aside because the only way you can believe Trump is worse than Harris is if you shut your eyes to the disaster that's happening in Gaza. When you look around you and say, there's no bombs here, it doesn't look like Gaza, it's a nice room that we're sitting in. You're only able to say it if you are able to establish some disconnect between you and what happened in Gaza. And not only that, one of the tragic things is, why would you tell genociders that you will still back them through the entire election season? Why couldn't you shut up? Why couldn't you shush? At least from November until October. Why couldn't you bluff? Why couldn't you imagine you're sitting on a poker table and bluff that you're going to punish? Why is it in January you said you were willing to forgive genocide? Why did you say it in February? Why did you say it the day after the uncommitted vote? Why did you say it in April? Why did you say it in May? Why did you say it when Netanyahu attacked the West Bank? Why did you say it when Biden sent the arms to the Israelis? Why did you say it when Biden put TikTok? Why couldn't you shush? Why couldn't you shut your mouth and bluff that you were going to punish? Why did you reassure them? Why the vote wasn't in January. It wasn't in February. You said you oskud, sakkar fummak, shush.
For those that don't speak Arabic, I think that means shut up, and I think it means shut your mouth.
Bluff and let them believe you will punish them so that maybe they will sweat in a bit that will make them change. Why tell them that the genocide is not a red line? Why proactively go to the White House and sit and say to Biden that yes, you've slaughtered Palestinians, but we'll still vote for you, but show us a bit of empathy? Why? How does it make sense that while they're beating up your brother, you're walking by going, are we still on for that venture capital project? Are we still on for tonight going to have a few drinks? We're still on for tonight to discuss the project that we're doing. We're still on, yeah? While he's beating, why? What possessed you? When Reuters wrote that Biden's campaign manager said that the damage inflicted on us by Gaza, by our support for Gaza, is greater than anything that we imagine. What possessed you the following day to write an article in Politico to say uncommitted doesn't mean we're abandoning you? What possessed you? Why, when they were scared, did you go to reassure them? Why at the DNC, when they refused to let you on stage, why do you sit there 4 days outside the DNC and you say to them, we know you're killing the Palestinians, but we're still gonna help you? And so why? Oscar, even if you plan to vote for the Democrats, shush until November. Do you see Zionists airing the differences in their community, saying maybe you've forgiven us? Zionists are quiet until November. Why did you open your mouth? Why did you come out and say it could be worse? 240,000 Palestinians killed, and still you kept saying we'll vote for you. Bombs on the Jabalia refugee camp killing 400 people in one bomb. You came out next day and said we'll still vote for you. Sidra legs blown off. The next day you say we'll still vote for you. They airdrop aid and they kill Palestinians with that aid that was airdropped. The next day you say online, we'll still vote for you because it could be worse. Leah, why? Why? Uskut, shut up. Shush. At least until November, play poker. Don't show them your hand. Don't show them the cards. Because what could have happened, and I tell you a funny story. When I was in November, when I came here, I sat with some of the other organizations. And one of them said to me, Sami, what representatives? It was an official meeting. I just came to give a talk and go home. They said to me, Sami, what do you think our strategy should be? I said, in my opinion, Trump could well be worse. But I think that if Democrats truly feel like they will lose because of Gaza, they might change their candidate from Biden to somebody else. But that requires us to really give the impression that we're genuinely going to abandon the Democrats. We have to all sing from one hymn sheet and say we're going to, and I think by February, March, I think they will remove Biden because the Democrats, they don't love Israel more than they love their seats. If they know support for Israel is going to make them lose, they will swap Biden. They'll find an excuse and they'll get rid of him. That's not what happened. They eventually removed Biden, but only because he flopped in the debate. It wasn't because of Gaza. I know some people want to claim it's because of Gaza. It wasn't because of Gaza. And the proof is, look at Kamala Harris. She didn't change her policy on Gaza. In fact, she's worse than Biden because Biden at least used to say, both sides are hurting. Kamala Harris won't even allow them to speak at the DNC. And when they tried to protest, she said, I'm speaking. I believed in November that there was a way in which you could actually still vote Democrat in November. That if you could give the impression they would lose because of Gaza, you could subvert the Zionist influence and they would change their candidate. That's why it breaks my heart that in February and March, when Reuters are reporting that the Democrats are gathering to discuss whether Gaza will really hurt them in November, while they are at the table debating, Muslims went to them and said, just so you know, we're still voting for you. They went, really? Look at these guys. All right, bombs away. Let's keep supporting. We don't need to hold it because they're still going to vote for us. And that's why when I respond to the argument, my argument is not that it's built on a premise that these are evil people who want to forgive genocide. My argument is, why did you open your mouths? Why did you scream from the hilltops that you would still be willing to vote for genociders? Why did you keep reassuring them when they were panicking? Why did you preemptively go to them and tell them, don't worry, we'll still vote for you? Why did you go and ask for crumbs when the Palestinians didn't ask you to? Why did you go and give cover Muslims for Harris? Why did you go and give cover to this genocide on the day that Lebanon gets bombed by the Israelis? Why do you keep reassuring these Democrats publicly that you're ready to forgive them and that genocide is not a red line? I cannot cannot for the life of me understand this. I cannot understand this tactic. I cannot understand this strategy, because wallahi, in my opinion, the genocide could stop tomorrow if Muslims took a stand. The reason it continues is because they don't. In 1982, King Fahd called Reagan and he stopped the attack on Lebanon. In 2001, King Abdullah called Bush and he stopped the repression of the Second Intifada. Bin Salman hasn't called Bush yet, hasn't called Biden yet. But the problem is that the Muslims themselves, they could have said in Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, Arizona, areas where Muslims potentially have the deciding vote, they could have said genocide is a red line unless you stop. Unless they didn't. They said that, guys, our community is divided. Can you please give us a few statements here and there to keep our community at least on board? And this is the point that I'm saying, that when you say, what would you say to those who say we still need to vote for Harris? I would say, may Allah forgive you, because there could have been a situation where you might have genuinely gone and voted Democrat, but you ruined it because you opened your mouth. You ruined it by reassuring them. You ruined it by you kept raising your voice and saying to them, we'll still vote for you. All you had to do was shush, and you did it. This is not to Mehdi Hassan. He's been annihilating the Zionists and he's been doing a wonderful job at it. But you didn't need to tell Democrats that they were the better option. You could have said to them, we're ready to abandon you. You didn't. You reassured them. And that's why Kamala Harris today, when she makes the gamble, who should I offend, Zionists or the Muslims? She doesn't dare offend the Zionists because they said, you stop genocide, we'll punish you. She said, let's offend the Muslims because they keep telling us proactively that they're ready to forgive us.
Wow. So again, a very, very emotional and touching discussion from Sami Hamdi on the Ansari podcast. And, it reminds me of something interesting. There used to be a time where people weren't so open about their votes, right? People used to be very secretive about it. And I used to think it was weird growing up. And now I do see why a little bit. And now people are just so open with who they're voting for. It's actually never surprising. You can usually tell who someone is going to vote for. So basically in this video, what I got from it is that Sami Hamdi is basically saying, play some poker, make politicians earn your vote. Stop doing the lesser of two evils and be a bit more sophisticated, right? Do a protest vote. And if I understand correctly, I believe Sami Hamdi is doing the protest vote where he's going to vote for Jill Stein. And if he can, I think his thing is still don't sit at home. I believe he would still rather have people vote for Trump than vote for Kamala, because if you vote Jill Stein and she gets 5%, it opens up a huge amount of federal funding for her. And now she can actually be a legitimate candidate in the next election. However, if you don't vote Jill Stein for whatever reason, or you can't, like I think she's getting banned in a few states, then Kamala and the Democratic Party would want you to either vote for Kamala or don't vote at all. Don't go out and vote Trump and get him in. And so he's basically saying, yes, do that. That's your protest vote. And again, it's very interesting. I know these discussions are being had a lot, even in my own group of friends. So I really want to know your point of views. What discussions are you having with your close family, with your friends, and what's your point of view on this? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. See you in the next one. Thank you.